Before we get into the video, if you're looking for top quality sample packs, preset packs and templates for your music production, they're entirely royalty free. You can use them in your own productions and learn from them. If you're interested, check out the link in the description and enjoy the video. What's good people? It's Lewis of bbrights and I am back with a brand new video. Today's video I'm doing something different, something I started my channel on. I'm going to be making some deep house, or house, however we want to name it. But instead of making a track from scratch like I did in the past, I'm going to be recreating a track that was recently released. It's quite a popular track recently, so I think you're going to really enjoy this one. It's a track called Fake Friends by an artist called PS1. So yeah, it's going to be a really good one. Hope you're going to enjoy it. It's going to be around 5 parts or so, around 5 or 6. I'm still continuing us from start to finish and making a drop like series, so don't worry about that, they're still coming. But other than that, let's just get straight into this with part 1. Going to be starting with the chords and creating the verses. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. Let's get straight into it and let's go. So to start with, we're going to be creating the chords for the track. These chords are used in the verse and they switch up rhythm in the climax, building up to the drop, and then it's a similar rhythm and similar sound in the drop. It's just using an FM bass. So for the piano, we're just using a simple Keyzone Classic. I'm pretty sure PS1 uses the Korg M1 house piano. It's just modified and mixed a little differently. But we're going to switch out to that after we've made the chords. But just for now, we're going to be using a regular Keyzone Classic Yamaha grand piano. This is a free piano plugin, so you can download this now. So yeah, with the chords, they're quite simple. We're going to be starting off with a simple F sharp, or an F minor, sorry. So yeah, it's pretty good. So we just draw that in now. So it's an F. And then we go F, G sharp, and then C. Next is a G sharp, but it's not a G sharp major like this. So instead, it's an inverted G sharp. So we go G sharp, and then the upper G sharp 4. And then we bring the D sharp 5 down an octave, and then we lower the C5 to a B flat. And then towards the end of this bar here, he makes a little rhythm, so we do this, and then this. So if we put the metronome on, you hear the rhythm right here. And then what he does here is then, like before, when I said you lower the C down to a B flat, you now add the C, including the B flat, so it's like this. Next is C sharp. So we add that in, C sharp. We just copy this chord like that, and then just up the E to an F. And then this is just D sharp here, and then of course it's just a regular D sharp major. And at the end here, he does a little chop, so it's like 2 stabs. So there are the chords. Now if we just add the M1 in here, and then we clear all this, we load the M1, turn off the hall reverb, go into the master effects, turn off the ensemble reverb, and then copy the chords over to the M1 house. So you could layer these 2 pianos, but obviously the M1 being the main forefront of the piano, you could have this Keyzone Classic in the back. Just to point out, if I don't make an accurate representation, I'm just recreating the track to my best of abilities. So if I add some small nuances or small things that I make for myself, it's just for maybe personal preference or anything, but the actual core of the remake is still here. So just put that out there. But yeah, these are the chords. So now the chords are done. These just play through the verse with a simple clap. Of course, bearing in mind I don't have the vocal. It's going to be an instrumental version without the vocal, so it might sound bare because the vocal does carry this song pretty heavy in this track. So yeah, so for now, if we just delete these MIDI file here for these keys and we just keep the M1, just going to call this M1 piano and add this into the mixer slot 1. It's a very mid and bottom heavy piano, so we're going to take some of the low end out. I'm going to add some small reverb, not too much. I'm going to use a Valhalla Vintage. Do a simple 400 Hertz cut, maybe a 1.5 second decay, and maybe like a 15% mix. Add it to 20%. So sounding pretty good. That is the main forefront of the track, really. It's just the chords playing. So then what we're going to do now is we're going to make a new pattern. If we call this sus chords, so these are the sustain chords. If we copy this MIDI information, so now, like I said before, in the track, in the climax, so leading up to the build up to the and drop of the track, he uses the same chords, he just changes the rhythm, so they play like this. For anyone wondering how I'm doing that, I'm just holding Alt and then right clicking, previews the chord. But that is a rhythm that he does, so if we just make that now. Another thing we want to do before we move on is turn up the swing meter for around 15 to 20%. It makes gives it a nice swing, a nice groove. And you can also offset some of these notes to give it, reinforce that groove a bit more, like these notes here. So this note right here, if you bring it to the right a little bit. So you see, add some more accents, but we're not going to do that for now. And of course, we're going to use this chord instead of this one. Also forgot to mention, we're meant to add a C on top of this chord here. So now it sounds like this. Completely forgot to mention that, so I do apologise. Just add that into this one as well. And then we're going to highlight all these here. I'm going to make these a little snappy, just take 2 or 3 blocks off like that. Because of the swing, it sometimes makes some of the notes not heard. So that is that. Now we can go back to these sustain chords or these rhythmic chords and start continuing the rhythm. And then add this in. It's essentially the same rhythm for each block or for each bar. And then add this one in here. So this is the exact same, like that. And then add that one there, and then delete these notes here. So the rhythm chords, so these are sustain chords, so that is the main core of the track, and then it's really percussion, a clap, and the vocal that carries the whole verse. So now that we have the chords, both the rhythmic and sustain chords, we can start arranging the track now. So it starts with the simple 8-bar sustain chords, and then it goes into the rhythm chords like this. And like I said, there's a simple clap going through the 16 bars. There's some small things added throughout, like a high string and ambience vocal, and some small reverse crashes and stuff like that. And it slowly builds up in this section here with the rhythmic chord. It slowly builds up. Some snares start getting added in the last 4 bars, some rises, some sweeps, and white noise. And then this section here will be the drop, which will be another episode. But for now, it's going to add the percussion, some small ambience vocals, like the high string and the vocal, and then we can probably end the episode there, then move on to episode 2 next time. So yeah, this is what we have so far then. So that is the clap we're going to be using. So this plays on 2 and 4. We just turn this down like this. And on the last section here, on this very last beat, the clap plays a double clap like disco. Like that. And then of course this continues on, and then it builds up in this section like I said before. So for the patterns and the MIDI, we're going to make this a nice blue color like this right here. This is the color I usually use for my MIDI. My drums are usually green. Like I said, I always color code everything. It's always helpful to know when you become familiar with certain things that you like colored. For example, I like my MIDI and my sounds being blue, my drums being green, my effects being yellow, etc. It's easy to know what's what. So make sure you always learn to color code your sounds. Like I said before, we're going to add another EQ. It's a very bottom heavy, this piano. You don't need that much body for this part. And then we're going to go into my crashes folder. This is from my Deep House Essentials Volume 2. We're going to add a reverse crash. This one will work perfectly. We're going to add this in at the bottom here. So this will be the reverse crash. So the clap I'm thinking is in my first pack, just the Deep House Essentials. It's under crashes, and it's this one here. This one right there. And what we're going to do is we're going to add this in the mixer and add some delay on it. Some 4-step delay. And then that will create a nice atmosphere and a nice effect. Like I said, I'll make my effects yellow, so we're going to add both of these into the mixer. Again, we're going to add these down here. And then this crash, we're going to add a fruity delay too, change it to the time to 4, make it ping pong. And now it sounds like this. A nice effect. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a small reverb on the reverse crash to create a nice reverb tail. And then that will make a nice transition as well. And then now we need to add the high string. In my pack, I have a high string in all the keys. So if we go into effects and ambience, I have the high string in every single key. The key we're working in is F minor. So we're going to look at the F minor one. And this is going to be very, very subtle. And this is going to come in on this section here with when the rhythmic piano changes alongside a vocal ambience, which we're going to add afterwards, which is why I have splice in the bottom of my taskbar. So this fades in, so it's not an instant, doesn't just instantly start playing. It slowly fades in. I'm going to put a preset from the stereo enhancer called For Strings. This will make it nice and wide in your ears. And then yeah, if you're going to splice, I'm going to search just vocal like that. See if we can get, and then we're going to change it to effects, and then we can pick one of these out. So we could pick this and just pitch it up to F minor, so that's D, E, D sharp. So it should be 3. Let's stretch, and then if we add this in. And then right here, this is where the drop really happens. So we're taking out the effect there since it fades back in. So that's good enough if you make that the blue color as well. And then, like I said as well, the high string fades in. So we're going to create an automation clip for that. And let's just do that like that. And then the snare melody is or the snare rhythm, should I say? There's no melody. Something similar to that. Obviously, I was playing that with my hand, so it sounded completely off time, but don't worry, it's going to sound much better when we add it into the project. So I think I'm going to leave this episode here. I'm going to put a link in the description to listen to the original song so you can hear back and forth from my creation and my remake to the original song. You can see it's quite bare bones because the vocal carries the main forefront of the track, so it's going to sound quite weird without the vocal on my recreation. But yeah, the piano, the clap, the high string, the crashes, that is the main forefront. Next episode we'll work on the build up, and then we could start on the drop with the FM bass and the drop drums and add more drums and percussion and stuff like that. So part 2 is going to be coming in a few days. I've got a new episode of Making a Drop Like I've said a couple days ago. It's a hardware one, but I want to make sure it's perfect. So before I put it out, I want it to be really good. And I also have a new episode of From Start to Finish with W&W. So I've got a lot more videos in the future. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, helps the channel grow, and I really appreciate it. So stay safe, produce music, and I'll speak to you all very, very soon.